Hello, my loves. Welcome to episode 2 of the Faithful Doula podcast. I'm really excited about the subject that I'm going to be covering. It's about my journey to becoming a doula, and I'm really excited to share that journey with you guys and what my plans are and why I even started this thing. So why did I become a doula? Or when did I fall in love with becoming a doula? Or what even brought me here to become a doula? I have a really long journey on how I even got here. And from when I can even remember, I believe I was 7 years old or 8 years old. I don't know if you guys remember TLC, the channel, but when I was 7 or 8, instead of watching like cartoons on a Sunday, I was watching My Baby Story on TLC, and it was all about births. And I remember seeing moms laboring. I remember seeing the babies come out, and I always was very in love with that. For some reason, it caught my attention. So I knew from a really young age that I wanted to work with babies and laboring women, and I thought the only way to do that is to become an OBGYN. So throughout my, schooling, middle school, high school, I always would tell people I want to be an OBGYN. And that was my goal. That's all I knew. Then my brother had his first child, and I remember I was really excited about it. I was like, yay, there's finally gonna be a baby. And I remember asking my sister-in-law if I can be in the room with her, and she was like, yeah, dude, like, come and you can like see everything in the beginning, and then like I guess they were gonna send me out or something. And this was, I believe, to 2016 when my nephew was born. And I had already started college, and my major was biology. And I remember biology was the only way to become a doctor at the time. And so I decided to just go that route. But then I got to experience an actual birth at the hospital. And I realized that the doctor didn't do much. I remember the nurses being very catering. I remember them being very nice. And I remember when my sister was about to start pushing, the nurse was like, hey, do you want to stay? And I'm like, can I? And I'm guessing because this has always been who I am, a nurturer, they kind of saw that in me, and they were like, we kind of need her help. Or I don't know what was going through the nurses' minds, but I just knew that they wanted me to stay, and I wanted to stay. So I did. And when I saw my nephew come out, I can't even explain how it felt, honestly. Like, I just remember it being the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced, and in that moment I knew, like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to feel this feeling every single day for the rest of my life if I could. And so I realized, I was like, maybe I shouldn't be a doctor. Maybe I should be a nurse, a labor and delivery nurse. Maybe this is where my calling is, because I'm more of a nurturer than just a doctor who comes in at 10 centimeters, tells you to push, sews up, and leaves. Like, that's not who I am. I'm more of I want to engage. I want to be there rubbing your feet. I want to be there holding your hand and telling you it's going to be okay. And I'm that person. So I decided to pursue nursing. And then COVID happened. And honestly, it was the biggest blessing in disguise for me. I know a lot of people have had a really hard time with COVID, but my silver lining is that if it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't have found this route in the birth worker world. And honestly, that's why I'm here. It's because of COVID-19, because I finished my prerequisites for nursing and I started applying to nursing schools, and no one was accepting me. And during COVID, I got a lot of emails back saying, hey, we're not going to have a class this year. We're not going to have a cohort this year. And I was like, well, what am I going to do now? Either the schools are rejecting me, or there's no schooling this year at all. So I decided to find a different route, and I did. I decided to put nursing school on hold during the pandemic, and I was like, okay, if you know me on a personal level, I don't like doing nothing. I've always been a little hustler. I've always, worked 2 to 3 jobs. I've always wanted to do something better, and I never liked just standing still in life. And so I decided, okay, if nursing is not going to happen for me right now, what was even my goal to begin with? And my goal for nursing school was to work as a midwife. In 2018, I decided to volunteer at Cedars-Sinai, and I realized that the nurse life wasn't really for me because I just don't like the whole fact that I come in for my shift and I leave, and I'm a curious cat. I want to know what happened to those patients. And as a nurse, you can't really do that. You can't really be so curious because sometimes you won't see that patient ever again. And I create relationships with everybody I come in contact with, and to think that I won't be able to follow up on my patient that I had in the hospital kind of like freaked me out. So I was like, okay, labor and delivery, what can I do with that? And then I realized I can become a midwife. And I was like, okay, midwifery it is. I have to go to nursing school. I have to do 1 year of labor and delivery, and then I have to do 2 to 3 years of midwifery school, and then I can become a certified nurse midwife. I'm going to do that. That's going to be the goal. But then again, fast forward, pandemic happened, and I realized nursing might have to be put on hold. So how else can I become a midwife? Can you even become a midwife without having a nursing degree? And then I Googled, and I found out that you can become a certified licensed midwife, which is pretty much you take the same board as a nursing midwife. The only thing is that you can't work in a hospital setting, which I'm totally for because it's the hospital setting that I'm not really a fan of. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go this route. And I remember when I was doing my research, I was like, okay, like midwife, how can I become a midwife? And I explained this in my last episode that I ended up falling into the rabbit hole, and I found doulaship. Like, I found doula life, and I fell in love ever since. So what did I do? I found doula. What was the next step? I looked up how to become a doula, and I know a couple of you that are curious as to how to become a midwife or how to become a doula, and I was like, okay, well, maybe this video can help you out. We do need more women of color to become doulas. Even if you're not a woman of color, we just need more doulas out there. I don't think there's enough of us, and especially not here in the Valley, and I think that our community really needs it. So if you are inspired to become a doula, let this video help you out. So I'm gonna go through the processes of how to become a doula. How do you become a doula? So the first step to becoming a doula is to find an organization that works for you. Every person is different. Everybody has different views. You do also need to know who you want to cater to, in a sense. I'm more of a, free-spirited, very hippie, and I believe in God, and, it would be great to serve God's people as well. But we're all God's people, so I want to serve everybody. I serve pretty much anybody that I bond with. My biggest thing is I want to have a vibe with my client. If we vibe on you can be my best friend, even if after this, I want you as my client. I just want you as my client. That's all I really ask for in a client. I don't really ask for your religion. I don't ask for your certain race. I am open for all. But my one check that has to be filled is the vibe check. I need to vibe out with you, because it's the only way I'll feel comfortable being in your space when you're going through such an intimate moment in your life. You're allowing me into the space, and to not be able to vibe with you and to feel a certain way emotionally with you, then it won't be worth it. I cannot take you as a client. And that's totally fine. We're all different personalities. Some people don't get along with other people just naturally, and that's totally okay. And you have to kind of be okay with that, stepping into the doula world, that not every single client is for you. And that's something I knew from the beginning walking in. And if you know me in a personal level, you know that I love everybody. So for me to get along with people is really easy. But sometimes people don't like my personality. They don't like the way I talk, or they don't like the way I look, or they don't like my views in life, whatever the case may be, and that's totally okay. There's going to be a group of people out there that are going to love me for me, and those are the people I want to work for. So that's the great thing about being a doula, is that you have a say in who you work for. It's not like going to a 9 to 5 like, oh, I hate my coworkers. It's not like that. It's like, I can't wait. Like, my partner knows this. I come home after a prenatal visit and I'm like, oh, I love my clients, you know, and I mean it 100%, and I don't want it any other way. I will never take a client that I don't 100% fully love, like unconditionally. And I think that's the beauty of this, and I think that's why I know I'm going to be doing this for a really long time, because I just love everybody that I work with, and I think that's the beauty of this job. When you're choosing your, oh my god, there's a cat. Oh my god, it looks like Scarlet. Oh my god, where did he go? Okay, anyways. Ooh, I got so excited. It's a neighborhood cat. Anyways, so where was I? When choosing your organization on who you certify with, you have to read their vision or their mission statement, and if it's something that you can work with, then go for it. Every organization has their policies and whatnot, and how many years you have to, you know, recertify with them. I believe Dona International, which I'm certifying with, is every 3 years. So you have to find an organization that you're totally cool with. There's organizations like Doula that you don't have to recertify. You just have to do CEUs, which means that you have to like keep up your education. So, but you don't have to recertify. So there's so many different types of organizations. Just Google certifying doula organizations, and you can find a list of them. So you choose what you want to do. After you do that, you take a training with the organization, and I loved my training. It was amazing. Anna Parkel, she is fantastic. She's been in this field for so many years, and she's actually in Brazil right now, I believe, and she's amazing. She's fantastic. I couldn't like ask for a better mentor or trainer, because she just explained everything so well. And I remember looking at her and I'm like, or listening to her and being like, wow, she's me. Like, and that's something you'll realize too. If you were meant to do this, if this is your calling, you'll know during your training. You'll be like, these women are my type of people. Like, we're all sensitive. We were all crying at one point. You know, we all were those people that are nurturers, and we're giving, and we're these type of people. Like, our natural instinct is to be nurturers, and it's weird to find other people like me, because I'm always usually the mama bear of the group. And to find other mama bears and to be around a community of mama bears it's a total like shock for me. So I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I knew I belonged there. I knew this was where I belong. And the training took a couple days. It's hours long. And after that, you have to go through your manual. So the steps are, you have to go through your manual. You have to read, like, I believe 7 to 10 books. And you just, a lot of knowledge. Like, it's a lot and lots of knowledge that you have to take in, because, you know, we're not clinical people. We're not going to be touching you in your private parts. We're not going to be taking your blood pressure. We're not going to do anything clinical. We're just emotional, physical, in the sense of like touching for comfort, and informative. So if we don't have the answer for something, we're going to go find the answer for you instead of you having to do your own research. And we're also advocates, or we train you to be advocates for yourself. So these are the things we do. We don't do anything that will put your life at risk. And I truly love that, because I can't imagine being the reason why something bad happens to someone. I cannot do that. It's just not in my heart to ever put myself in a place like that. So you read all these books, you do the training, you read your manual, and then and you can start being a doula. That's all it takes to be a doula. Just be educated, bring yourself and your personality and be an empath in a sense. You want to know what this person is feeling, and you want to know how you can fix it and how to make them feel better. And it just, to me, it was a natural thing, you know, and maybe it'll be natural for you too. You won't know until you try. So I remember I was like, I do want to be certified eventually, because right now during the pandemic, you can't go into the hospital without a certification. And I totally understand it. People, like, anybody can say they're a doula and then they can go in. So I understand why hospitals say you need to be certified. But you don't need to be certified to be a doula for your community. You just have to be trained and know what you're doing and why you're even there. So go out, get your training. It's a little bit of investments. Most places are like $500 to $800 depending on the organization, plus books and stuff like that. And then after that, what did I do? I honestly believe that the hardest part about being a doula is that you are starting off your own business. If you don't know anything about business, or you don't know how to start a business, or you don't have the motivation or drive to start a business, it's not going to be so easy for you as someone who does have that part of them. Because it's just like any other business. You have to sell yourself. You have to sell what your service is. You have to market yourself. And I come from a family of hustlers, like a family, not hustlers, but like a family of businessmen. Both my uncles are amazing businessmen. They're successful. My grandma, you know, she was in a lonchera, like she was making pupusas in the corner. You know, we're all naturally just business people. And so I'm thankful that I have that within me, but not a lot of people have that. So if you don't think you have the drive to be a business person, look into the business part of it first, because I think that's how you'll become successful. If you want to do this part-time and just do it to, you know, fulfill a certain need emotionally for yourself, then go forth and be happy and prosper, you know. But if you want to do this as a business, something that you want to make money out of and make it your career, you have to have some type of drive to be a business person. You just have to. So I do. Like I said, naturally I do. And what did I do to start off my business? Was the first thing I did was, okay, I brainstormed. How am I going to get clients? Like, my community knows nothing about doulas. Like, they don't know anything. I'm going to be one of the few doulas in the San Fernando Valley, and I have to get this information out there to my people. Like, how am I going to do that? How am I even going to get experience to be good for you guys? Like, I don't want to just jump in and like not know what I'm doing. Like, I need experience. So I'm like, okay, where can I get experience? I decided to look up midwives and birth centers, because I was like, you know what? I'm eventually want to be a midwife someday. I don't know when. I don't know if doula world is going to be all for me, because if I end up loving, I'm going to stay here forever. But if I end up, you know, fulfilling every need in my doula world, I'll become a midwife eventually. So I was like, good place to start is midwives. So I looked up all the birth centers around me, and I found Pure Births with Tiffany Gallo, and I fell in love with her website. I was like, wow, this place looks so serene and very hippie-like and very natural, and I love their vision and their mission. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to Tiffany and see if she'll take me in as a volunteer. So again, I went in as a volunteer, like with my head saying, you know what, you don't have to pay me. I just want to learn. And thankfully I have the means to do that. So you have to think about that too. Do you have the means to put in time to grow, in a sense? So, and the money, like, do you have the money for that? Because it takes money to make money, in a sense. So I was like, I'm going to volunteer my time. I'm going to tell her I want to learn everything. I'm a new doula. And if, like I said, I think in the birth world, if you vibe with someone, it's gonna happen for you. So I contacted her. She gave me an interview. We vibed off. I love you, Tiffany, if you're watching this. I don't know if you are, but I told you I was gonna mention Pure Births because you're amazing. And she took me in, and she was, I love her and everybody at Pure Births. And I decided to volunteer for them. I am a phlebotomist, so I volunteer as a phlebotomist for them. and they refer me to clients. So it's I give you my service and you give me, or you send me clients. Obviously, not every client that they refer me to is gonna want me. Like I said, not everyone is for everyone. So the fact that they're even putting my name out there means the whole world. So that's what I've been doing since May, or since June, I believe she took me in. So I volunteer with them, and honestly, it was the best decision I think I made since the beginning. I put myself out there, and it rewarded me, because I don't think I would have gotten all this experience since May if it wasn't for Tiffany Gallo and Pure Births. So I do suggest, if you can't find a birth center that will take you in as a volunteer, I suggest you just go out and, in a sense, like, make business cards, because I made business cards, and just hand it out to any hospital near you, any doctor's office, any OB office, any pediatrics office, and just hand out your information and put your name out there, because that's what I did. I put myself out there, and it rewarded me with clients and experience that I couldn't have gotten anywhere else. So that was my next move. So what to do after here? I'm trying to get certified, and I gave myself a year. I was like, you got a year to get certified. You only need 3 births in order to certify. You have to witness 3 births. I thought it was going to be hard, because if you don't attend the birth, it doesn't count. And right now with COVID, you can't enter hospital. So how are you going to get clients? How are you going to fulfill those needs? But because of Pure Births, I was able to attend those births, and I ended up stacking up 6 births, and I was like, okay, well, I got my 3 out of the way. So I'm currently filling out all the paperwork. I'm finishing up the books that I have to read, and I'm also I'm writing an essay. I finished my resource list. These are all things that you need to do: resource list, an essay, read the books, get your experience. You need to get evaluations from your 3 clients, evaluation from 3 providers, whether it's midwives or OBs. And then the last part is that you have to take a breastfeeding class, like a little training from it. Have them fill out the paperwork. You have to attend a childbirth education course, which I did during my Dona training. During my Doula training, we also did a childbirth education class, so I was able to cover both. And then after that, you just turn it in, and you're good to go, and you just wait. So right now, I'm in the process of finishing my essay. I'm finishing books, and I'll be good to go. So hopefully by February, I am a certified doula, and I can put the title Certified Doula, CD, Dona, and that would be cool, because if I do end up having one of you as a hospital patient, hospital patient as my client, and that hospital allows certified doulas to come in, I can actually go with you, and I'm really excited about that. So that is my next step to becoming a certified doula. After that, my goal is to just put content out for you guys, and hopefully thrive in this business. Hopefully I do. Now I'm going to answer questions. I believe I answered a question from my friend Sobi. She asked all about the educational portion of it. Is it freelance? And I believe I answered that. Another thing about the freelance, actually, I can go a little intense with it. You can be your own business person. If for some reason you don't want to do it just by yourself, you can work with another doula. So let's say you guys find a client. You guys share the profit, and then you guys share the workload, and the day of, you guys choose who's gonna go, or if you both want to go, and you guys are each other's backup. So you can do a lot. You can get a lot more clients like that, because you'll always have a backup. I personally, I believe in backups, and they're very important, but right now I have been very stingy with my backup, in a sense, because I did not build this relationship with my client to not be there at the birth. That's the main reason why I didn't want to become a nurse, because I wanted to build a relationship for a reason. I want to be there through it all. I know there's going to be emergencies where I cannot make it for some reason. Like, I took a client that's due a week or two prior to me, and shout out to you, I love you. But I told her straight up, hey, I'm due like 2 weeks after you. Are you okay with me missing your birth if I go into labor for some reason I can't be there? And she said it's okay. And the communication was there, and that's all that matters. And I tell my clients, like, hey, I'll have a backup doula for you, because I do have a backup doula, but I prefer not to use her just because I established this relationship. I want to be there for you. I don't want to miss out on any births at all, ever. And like I said, it does happen. So to have a partnership like that, to work with someone that wants to do a dual doula thing with you, by all means, go do that. And it's, like I said, it's easier to get more clients that way. Another thing that people do is they work for an agency. Pro Doula has an agency that they look for the clients. You just go in and work, which is great, but you only get a cut. Another way is that you can volunteer for a nonprofit organization, and like Joy in Birthing, I believe it's called, Joy in Birthing Foundation. They work for, a lot of different families, low income, and sometimes people pay and sometimes people don't, and you give a portion of your pay take home, and then that's how you get more clients too. You get experience. So there's many different ways that you can work as a doula. It's not just you go out there and find your own clients. It's not like that. There's so many routes you can take. So that's question number 1. Hopefully I answered that. Question number 2. With the progressions of doulas becoming more mainstream and popular, what impact do you think the doula community will have on future generations? Eventually, people will start advocating for themselves enough to change laws and protocols. And Chanel, you are completely correct. Laws will be changed and protocols will be changed, and that's the goal. That is literally the goal. Since 1950s, I believe, the whole system has been messed up, and prior to that even worse. But we've had the same system for all these years, and protocols need to be changed, because the reason why these protocols are made is for high risk pregnancies, and they're treating every pregnancy as high risk, and that's not fair, because there's a lot of low risk people out there. We are literally 33% cesarean rates, which is pretty high, because only 1/3 of that 33% needs the freaking C-section. It's literally, they're the only ones that need it, only 1/3%. And that's sad, because some people don't want C-sections. It's cool if you want it, because whatever the case may be, you want a C-section, it's totally fine. It's up to you. But for those people that wanted a natural birth and they get bullied into doing it, or it's protocol or whatever, honestly, that's just one criteria of things that need to be changed. There's so many protocols that need to be changed, like inductions. Oh, that's another subject I'll get into later. But yeah, Chanel, there's gonna be a lot of things the more doulas come out into the community, and that's why I'm making this video, for you to get inspired to become a doula, or if you're already inspired to become a doula, this is the way it works. Very to the point. This is what you gotta do. This is how it works. It's a really beautiful community, because there's a lot of doulas out there that we all share information with each other, and if you need advice, it's just, a little post away, and then like hundreds of doulas are gonna be like, you can do this, you can do that, I do this, you can do that. So I totally suggest becoming a doula if it's in you, if it's in your heart, if it's something that you can do for your community and you want to do. But I honestly have so much hope for the future and laws changing, because even right now there's so many doulas, midwives working for laws to be changed in the hospitals. And even if they're not doing it in the hospitals, midwives are doing it at the birth center. Honestly, like I'm so grateful to be working at a birth center because I get to see the beauty of how amazing it is that you don't have to fight for what you want. You literally go in, peace of mind, knowing that this is my body. I get to choose what I want to do with it, and no one's fighting you on it. And I get to see, I'm really afraid of hospital births, and because I'm a spitfire, like I will throw my attitude out there, and as a doula you cannot do that. And I literally have to hold myself back when if I'm with a client in the hospital. I have to hold myself back because I want to scream so bad, and I can't do that. I have to keep my composure and tell my client, you know, you can fight for yourself. You know what's right, you know what's wrong, and it sucks that we have to do that. But one day, that's what we're fighting for. One day we don't have to fight anymore. They'll let us birth naturally. Don't get me wrong, there's OBs out there that allow you to do what you want to do. They're like, this is your birth, you handle it. I'm just here to make sure baby and mama are okay. But then there's those OBs that are on their own clock, and they're like, I want to get you in and out of here as soon as possible. Or, I don't care, I've been doing this for years, I'm going to do it my way. And those are the ones you have to look out for. So when you're looking for your provider, and this goes out to all the mamas or expecting or anybody that's eventually going to become a parent, look up your rights, look up the hospital protocols, ask all the questions that you need to ask, ask all the questions you want to ask. And if for some reason you get a bad feeling about the OB, that they won't take your opinion into consideration or your preferences into consideration, walk away. It's okay to walk away. It's never too late to walk away. You can pick another OB. There's so many OBs out there with all the insurances that we have. You can do it. And if you don't think you can, I'll be right there in your ear telling you you can do it. Today's episode was very long, but if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much. The light, is going away, and next time I'm gonna do this a little earlier because I forget that at 5 o'clock the sun is down. So thank you guys all for watching or listening. If this is a podcast that you're listening to on the way to work or whatever the case may be, thank you guys for supporting me. Please let me know if there's any topic you want me to cover, or if this episode made you happy or you learned something new today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. All that honestly just motivates me to keep doing these videos, and also helps me to better know my community and see what you guys need from me. So please, all those little things like comment, share, subscribe. I hate saying it over and over, but I will, because it's the only way I'm going to reach more people. It's the only way I'm going to grow, and that's the whole point of me doing this. I want to grow to be better. I want to grow to learn more. I want to grow to get closer to you guys. So please help me out. Help me help you. And I love you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time.